If you're watching this clip, it means you've successfully been able to identify whether to use sine, cos or tan using these triangles, and you've also been able to use the triangles to help guide your calculation. Where you came a little unstuck in the summary test was in this sort of situation when we've got a bit of additional information. So let's work through the question that was in the test first of all. Now, I'm going to do the question in two ways at the same time because it depends on which angle you're using. You'll remember from lessons that hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle, or it's always the longest side. So this 11 is our hypotenuse. Now, whether the side is an opposite or adjacent depends entirely on which angle we're using. Now, we have both angles there, but it depends on which angle we use as to which side is defined as opposite or adjacent. So let's look at this triangle here. What I'm going to do is ignore that 25. I'm going to pretend it's not there. The only bits of information I need are this angle, the hypotenuse. So let's see what I've got. Well, I've got the angle, so I've got sine, cos and tan. I've got the hypotenuse, so I've got h and h, so I'm going to be using one of these two triangles, and I'm looking for the side that's opposite. So I've got sine, I've got hypotenuse, I'm looking for the opposite, I'm looking for the opposite, and that will equal sine of the angle times the hypotenuse. So my opposite side will equal sine of the angle multiplied by the hypotenuse. Now, if we go back a step and we had a choice as to which angle we were going to use, well, here, let's say ignore the 65. Let's pretend the 25 is the angle that I'm going to use. Well, my hypotenuse stays the same, and I've still got the angle, so sine, cos and tan. So it's going to be one of these two triangles that I use, except in this case, x, the thing I'm looking for, is actually adjacent to the angle that I'm using. So adjacent, got the angle, got the hypotenuse. This is the triangle that I would use. I'm looking for the adjacent, so I'm left with cos times the hypotenuse. So using this calculation here, I've got x equals cos of 25 times 11. Now, whichever calculation I use, if I pop that into my calculator, I'm going to get an answer of 9.97 if it's rounded to 2 decimal places. So a question where you've got more information that you need, the skill is in actually taking out the information that you do need. So let's try an example of that. We're going to take a right angle triangle. I'm going to give you two angles. We're going to look for this missing side. I'm going to tell you the hypotenuse is 20. So my question is, find the missing side. What I'd like you to do is press pause, have a go at the question, then press play and see how you did once you've had a go. Okay, well, in looking at this question, it doesn't really matter which angle I use. For no particular reason, I'm going to choose 32 and I'm going to ignore the fact that 58 is there. Well, if I'm choosing the angle 32, I've got the hypotenuse and I'm looking for the adjacent. So I'm using this triangle and I'm looking for the adjacent. So it's cos of the angle times the hypotenuse. So you should have had an answer of 16.684 and you may have rounded that to 16.7. Okay, to finish, I'm going to give you two questions to have a go at. I want you to complete these, and these are what you'll hand in to be marked by Mr. Ford. So question number 1. So if we take this side to be 12, this side to be x, we're going to allow this angle here to be 31 and this angle here to be 59. And question 2. We're going to allow this angle here to be 30 and this angle here to be 60.